The Bellamy mansion's grand dining room sparkled with expensive taste. Crystal glasses and designer outfits reflected the chandelier's glow as Boston's elite gathered to celebrate my mother's 60th birthday. I sat quietly in my simple black dress, watching Mom hold court among her social circle. I checked my phone discreetly. Message from my COO, merger paperwork complete. Announcement in 35 minutes. Julia, Mom's voice carried that familiar disappointment. Couldn't you have worn something appropriate for once? I smoothed my dress, handmade by an emerging designer I'd secretly invested in. Happy birthday, Mom. Real executives wear designer brands, she sneered at my clothes. Not that you'd know about executive style working at that. What do you call your little company? Genesis Tech, I said quietly. My sister Diana smirked from her perfect perch beside Mom. You mean that startup in the old warehouse district? How quaint. If only they knew about the gleaming headquarters hidden behind that warehouse facade. At least Diana understands presentation. Mom gestured to my sister's expensive suit. Senior VP at Morgan Stanley by 35. That's real success. I checked my watch. 25 minutes until the announcement. Remember when Julia tried interviewing at Morgan Stanley? Diana laughed. Showed up in off-the-rack clothes? I chose a different path, I said. Different. Mom scoffed. Hiding in some warehouse with computer programmers isn't a path. It's avoiding reality. Dad at least attempted kindness. I'm sure her little tech project is interesting. It's not a project, I corrected. It's a company. Darling, Mom sighed, real companies have real executives. With proper wardrobes and proper offices. Not whatever you're doing. I checked my phone again. 15 minutes. Speaking of real success, Diana straightened. Mom, should we tell everyone my news? Mom brightened. Yes. Diana's being promoted to executive director. Youngest in Morgan Stanley's history. The room burst into applause. I watched the financial news playing silently on the wall-mounted TV, counting down the minutes. That's how you build a career, Mom continued. Professional appearance, prestigious firm, proper connections. Not playing entrepreneur in last season's clothes. 10 minutes. Julia could still get a real job, Diana offered with fake concern. I'm sure some entry-level position. I'm happy where I am, I said. Happy. Mom laughed. Happiness doesn't pay for Chanel, darling. Just look at what you're wearing to my birthday dinner. 5 minutes. The TV's closed captions caught my attention. The financial news anchor looked excited, papers shuffling. Breaking news in the tech world. The caption read. Mom was still talking. Really, Julia, it's time to join the real business world like your sister. Breaking. Genesis Tech closes landmark $8.2 billion merger. Dad's wine glass stopped midair. My photo filled the screen, not the casual one they knew but my official CEO portrait. The caption spelled it out. Julia Bennett, CEO of Genesis Tech, youngest female chief executive to close billion-dollar merger. The room went silent. That's not possible, Diana whispered. Mom's perfectly manicured hand clutched her chair. There must be some mistake. No mistake, I said calmly, standing up. Though I suppose I should dress more like a real executive now that the news is out. 8.2 billion? Dad's voice cracked. I smoothed my simple dress. The warehouse district was just for show, Mom. Our real headquarters takes up 3 floors of the Morrison Building downtown. The Morrison Building? Diana's voice shook. But that's the most expensive. Real companies have proper offices, right? I smiled. Would you like to see what a real executive looks like, Mom? The TV continued showing footage of Genesis Tech's innovations, each caption revealing another layer of my success. The room full of Boston's elite sat frozen, realizing the woman they'd dismissed as a failure had just become the city's biggest success story. My phone buzzed again. Message from my team. Press conference in 20 minutes. Time to show them everything. I looked at their shocked faces. Mom's sneer replaced by disbelief. Diana's smirk vanished. Dad's wine glass still suspended in surprise. Happy birthday, Mom, I said, gathering my things. I'd love to stay, but I have a merger to announce. You understand about real executive responsibilities, right? The Bellamy mansion's elegant dining room had transformed from a celebration to a scene of stunned silence. The TV continued displaying Genesis Tech's achievements while Boston's elite tried to process that the woman they'd dismissed was now one of the city's most powerful CEOs. "Let me understand this," Diana found her voice first. "While you were hiding in that warehouse, I was building the future," I finished, pulling up real-time data on my phone. "Genesis Tech's AI systems are revolutionizing how global businesses operate. But you'd know that if you'd ever actually asked about my little company." Mom's birthday cake sat forgotten as financial alerts kept lighting up the room's phones. Everyone was getting the news. But you wear off-the-rack clothes." Mom protested weakly. "No, Mom. I wear what I choose. Success isn't measured in designer labels." "The Morrison Building," Dad muttered, still processing. 3 floors. "Actually," I smiled, "we just acquired the whole building. That's part of today's merger announcement." Diana's perfectly manicured hands trembled. "You own the building where Morgan Stanley's offices are?" "Among others," I confirmed. "Interesting how your prestigious firm is now my tenant." The TV shifted to showing Genesis Tech's market impact. Stock prices soaring, global partnerships forming, innovation reshaping industries. "This is impossible," Mom whispered. "You were always so ordinary." "No," I corrected. "I was private. There's a difference." My phone buzzed. Message from my CFO. "Your net worth just hit $12 billion with market reaction." "You know what's ironic?" I continued, watching their faces. "While you were all focused on appearances, on designer brands and corner offices, I was actually changing how business works." "The warehouse," Dad suddenly understood. "It was a cover." "Of course it was. Did you really think a company developing revolutionary AI would operate from a warehouse? Or did you just never care enough to ask?" Mom stood shakily. "Darling, if we'd known." "You'd have what? Treated me differently because I was rich?" "That's exactly why I kept it quiet." Diana's executive confidence crumbled. "But I'm the successful one. I'm the youngest executive director. At a company that uses my technology," I finished. "Check your phone, sis. Morgan Stanley just announced full integration of Genesis Tech's AI systems." She grabbed her phone, face paling as she read. "This can't be happening." "Julia," Dad tried, "surely we can discuss this as a family. Like you discussed my career choices? My clothes? My little company?" The room fell silent again. I walked to the TV, where financial analysts were dissecting the merger's impact. "While you were mocking my simple clothes, I was building something that makes your entire business model obsolete." "Diana's promotion? It's to oversee the implementation of my systems." "What?" Diana's voice cracked. "Surprise, sis. Your new job is learning how to use my technology." Mom sank back into her chair. "All this time, when you said you were working on something important. You said real executives wear designer brands," I reminded her. "Well, Mom, this executive just bought the building where you host your charity galas." The TV switched to breaking news. Genesis Tech CEO Julia Bennett, the silent billionaire. AI revolution reshapes global business. Warehouse TO Wall Street. Tech's new queen. The press conference starts in 10 minutes. I checked my phone. "Would you like to see what a real executive office looks like, Mom? It's quite different from your country club boardroom." "Wait." Diana stood. "What happens to my career? My position?" "That depends," I said calmly. "Can you adapt to working with AI that makes most of your current skills obsolete? Can you learn from your little sister, who's now effectively your boss's boss's boss?" She collapsed back into her chair. "As for you, Mom," I turned to her. "Happy birthday. Your daughter just became the kind of executive you always wanted. Just not in the designer suit you expected." "Please," Mom whispered. "We can fix this." "Fix what? My success? My revolution of global business? Or just my wardrobe choices?" My phone lit up with another message. "Car ready for press conference. Time to reveal phase 2. I looked at their shocked faces. Boston's elite realizing they'd been sneering at a billionaire. My family understanding their social hierarchy had just been upended. "I have to go," I gathered my things. Real executives have responsibilities after all. "Mom, enjoy your birthday cake." Diana, You might want to start reading about AI integration. Your new job starts Monday. Julia, wait. Dad called. Your mother's birthday dinner. I turned back one last time. Don't worry. I bought out the restaurant chain last month. Dinner's on me. Their faces showed the final realization. Everything they'd valued, from restaurants to real estate, was now under my control. The next morning's headlines were everywhere. Fashion faux pas too financial force. Sue's family mocked her clothes while she built billions. The irony of Boston's elite discovering that their unfashionable target was now their most powerful player dominated every business channel. I sat in my real office, the top floor of the Morrison building, overlooking the city I'd quietly transformed. The wall of smart glass displayed Genesis Tech's global impact while my warehouse company reshaped the business world. Miss Bennett, my assistant called. Your family's here. All of them. I watched through the smart glass as they entered the building's lobby, their designer outfits suddenly seeming like costumes. Send them up. They emerged from the private elevator, eyes wide at the reality of my success. Gone was Mom's birthday confidence, Dad's casual dismissal, Diana's executive smugness. Please sit, I gestured to the conference area. I assume you've seen the morning coverage? Everyone has, Diana whispered. Forbes, Wall Street Journal, CNBC. The CEO who fooled Boston's elite. Not fooled, I corrected. You just never looked past the clothes. Mom touched the smart glass walls tentatively. This is incredible. More incredible than my little company in the warehouse? Dad cleared his throat. We spent all night researching Genesis Tech. The AI innovations, the global impact. Now you research it? I raised an eyebrow. Not when I tried telling you about it at every family dinner. We should have listened, Mom said quietly. Should have. I stood walking to the windows. Like when I tried explaining our AI breakthrough and you interrupted to criticize my shoes? Diana stepped forward. About my position at Morgan Stanley. Your new role implementing my systems? I turned back. Yes, let's discuss that. Our AI makes 90% of current trading strategies obsolete. Including yours. She paled. But my promotion was to oversee the transition to our technology. Congratulations, sis. You're now learning from your unfashionable little sister. The screens showed Genesis Tech's market impact. Stocks soaring, partnerships forming, industries transforming. Julia, Dad tried again. We were blind. So focused on appearance. That you missed reality, I finished. Do you know why I kept the warehouse facade? Why I wore simple clothes? They shook their heads. Because it showed me exactly who people really were. Those who looked past appearances saw the innovation. The rest. I gestured to them, saw only the surface. Mom smoothed her designer dress nervously. We can change. Learn to see differently. Can you? I challenged. Can Boston's premier socialite accept that true power doesn't come in a Chanel suit? The screens filled with more headlines. Genesis Tech revolutionizes global business. Warehouse wonder. Tech's new queen. Bellamy family dynamics upended by daughter's billions. You have choices, I said finally. Mom, your social circle now revolves around my business world. Dad, your investment firm depends on our technology. Diana, your career exists at my mercy. They exchanged glances, understanding their new reality. What do you want from us? Diana asked softly. Want? I smiled. I want you to understand that while you were judging clothes, I was changing the world. While you were counting designer labels, I was counting billions. Mom stepped forward. Please give us a chance to what? Finally see me? Or just see my success? Both, Dad said quietly. We were wrong. So terribly wrong. I turned back to the city view, my city now in many ways. You know what the real difference is between us? You saw success as something you wear. I saw it as something you build. My phone lit up with another message. Global expansion ready. Time to announce phase 3. Here's what happens now. I faced them again. Diana, you'll learn our systems from the ground up. No shortcuts, no special treatment. Mom, your social influence now serves my company's interests. Dad, your firm adapts to our technology or becomes irrelevant. And if we accept? Mom asked. Then prove you can value substance over style. Show me the great Bellamy family can see beyond designer brands to actual innovation. They nodded, their perfectly curated world transformed by the daughter they'd dismissed. The next press conference starts in an hour. I checked my phone. I'm announcing Genesis Tech's global expansion. You're welcome to attend, if you can handle not being the center of attention. As they turned to leave, Mom paused. Your dress, the one from last night, was created by a brilliant designer I discovered and funded, I finished. Worth more than your entire wardrobe, not that you'd recognize true value. After they left, I turned back to the screens showing Genesis Tech's worldwide reach. Sometimes the best revenge isn't wearing success. It's building it so large that even the blindest critics have to see. And in business, true power comes not from what you wear but what you create. As I prepared for the press conference, I smiled, knowing that next time they judge someone's clothes, they'd remember the day they discovered their unfashionable daughter owned their world. That was better than any designer label.